All right, guys. Well, welcome in. We are going to learn a little bit about key signatures today, specifically those sharp keys. Now, for many of us, we know these already, and we have some wonderful experiences to pull upon. Let's first, though, we probably should know what a key signature is. So, a key signature you're going to see at the beginning of our music. At the beginning of every single musical line, next to the treble clef or the bass clef, which we recently reviewed, you are going to find a key signature. A key signature is defined as any of several combinations of sharps or flats after the clef at the beginning of the stave, indicating the key of a composition. Say what? Here's how I like to think of it. Or a key signature is a series of sharps or flat that tells you where do is located. It helps us find do. No, not that kind of do. Nope, not that kind of do. That kind of do. Helps us know where do is in our solfege. And if we know where do is, we can sing the entire song knowing our pitches. So it's important that we know our keys. We're going to be starting off first with sharps. Now, sharps look exactly like hashtags, pound signs. I promise they were around in music way before they were around on Twitter. So many of you might remember way, way back in the day that I scared you with sharps. It was your way of remembering what sharps are, and that's why I've given you that little Scream logo up there. Some of you might recall, and when I was teaching younger kids, I used to draw this up on the board. I used to put this up on the board, and I would go, all right, I need everyone's attention for just a second. And I would talk really soft. I would say, guys, if there's anything you hear from me this entire year, I want you to really notice this. Then I would go like this, and I would scream as loud as I could when I touched this. I would go, ow, it's sharp, which made some kids like freak out. When I did that, notice what my hand looked like. In fact, I would wait a few weeks and I have some kids go, hey, you remember that day that I came up here? Like, no. And I had a student come up and say, show me exactly what that you did. And then I would go like this and go, freeze, look at your hand. Everybody knows what hand sign that is, right? That's T. And that was really to teach my students that the rule is the last sharpest T. You see, these key signatures just are like a little treasure map. They're like a map that shows us where things are. And if we know that the last sharpest T, there's nothing we can't find if we know our treble and our bass clef. Let me show you what I mean. So if you were to look at this, we have two sharps, right? Here's one sharp, here's two sharps. In this space, that third space up, F, A, C, I have the last sharp. All I need to do, if I know where T is, I go up to do. That's right. I go, that's T, here's do, and I name it on the treble clef. Every good boy does. So the answer for this one is the key of D. And we're going to say D major. That just means it's a happy key. More later about that. It's a way of defining different keys that we might be in. So here's T, here's do. I can do the same thing on the bass clef if I prefer to do bass clef. I'll notice that the last sharp is right here in the second space, or on C, A, C. I go from T to do, great big ducks, fly airplanes, and I'm in the key of D. And you'll see that our correct response is the key of D. Let's try another one. So in this case, the last sharp is T right there. I go up to do, T, do, F, A, C, and I would say this is the key of E. Hopefully this is making sense. I'm gonna give you a second to figure this next one out. There's the last sharp. That's T. Go up to do, name that note on the count of three. 1, 2, 3. The answer is, hopefully you got that right. It is the key of B. Next up, this one's a little trickier, except some of us have a shortcut. So there's T, last sharp. I go up to do, and I'm up here in this space. Remember, every good boy does fine, but I gotta go forward one in the alphabet. So this one is the key of G. Next up, another one that's up there in the top. We just had that G. There's G right there. Our last sharp's on this G. I go up one and I start over the musical alphabet. This is the key of A. Hopefully this is making sense to you. The last sharp's T, you go up to do. Remember, those ledger lines can get some of us. So we go F, then G, then A would be the line above. Well, in the bass clef, this A is way easier. Here's our bass clef, right? We go, here's the last sharp, it's G. I go up to do, T, do. Great big ducks fly, airplanes. A, we're in the key of A. Okay, here's where things get a little bit weird because you gotta look back on that line. Let's check it out. The last sharp, here's T. I go up to do. Every good boy does fine. The answer to this is not F. The answer's not F, even though you think it might be F. I wonder if you know why. Here's why. Look back on that line. If we said F, we'd be wrong because look back what's on that line. There's a sharp. So we would say F sharp is do. Because if we go play the white key, right, the sharps mean higher. If we go play the white key F, we'd be wrong. F sharp. Try this one. Last sharp's T. Go up to do. Did you get C sharp? Did you get C? Oh, wait. There's a sharp. C sharp. All right, last one. How do you do it? I don't see anything, Mr. Roo. How am I supposed to name it? Do you remember this one? If you don't see anything, do is C. And we've talked all about it. All right, guys. Hopefully this makes sense. It's time for us to practice with some musictheory.net. Hopefully you are ready to name sharp keys. Hopefully you are feeling pretty good. Go in there and practice. Remember, last sharpest T, go up to do, and that's all it takes. All right, guys.